Hey everyone, today I wanted to go over mixed media techniques and how I create mixed media artwork and art journal pages and just tips and tricks on creating mixed media in your art journal. And so I'm just going to go over how I do it, and I think today I wanted to do some kind of figures, and I've prepped my page and I'm just going to walk you through the process. The first thing that I wanted to mention, and it's been a while since I've done a mixed media video, but I like to use old thrift store books to use as art journals. So if you've watched my videos, you'd see that I regularly go to the thrift store. Well, I haven't in a while, but if I'm looking for a new art journal or a creative way to do mixed media, I'll find an old cookbook or an old thrift store book and you repurpose it as an art journal. Usually there's pages ripped out or it's just not in good conditions. A lot of times I'll prep my page by adding more pages from an old thrift store book onto the page so I can get started on it. So for example, I'll take a couple of pages. So I took 2 pages of this cookbook and I glued them together to make it thicker so it can hold all the paint and materials that I put on the page. So I use Mod Podge, but you can use any glue that you want. And I will glue a couple of pages, usually 2 pages together, and then I glue more pages from an old thrift store book on top of it to prep the page and make the surface nice and hard. And the next thing I use when I'm doing a mixed media page is I have stencils. I have a whole variety of stencils that I've collected over the years that I like to use and paint on. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I have some oil pastels that I use and just regular acrylic paints. I have mark making tools that I use. You can use a credit card, but I just use this scraper, and you can use this to mix up your paint. I'm going to show you that. I've put my paints onto just a large piece of paper. You can use parchment paper, but I didn't have any on me, so I'm just using regular sketchbook paper. And I think I'm going to start with a dark blue. And I'm not worried about whether or not I cover this paper up. That paper's there, really, this paper here, to just thicken up the page and add some texture. So I'm just adding some white to it. And just putting it wherever I feel like this is going to be a double spread. And I'm going to grab some of this bright pink and go right in there. And if you're doing mixed media and layers, you can't really be thinking too much because you're going to cover a lot of these layers. So you're just throwing it on there and seeing what you can do. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just throwing it on there. Let me get my little roller. And I like to sort of try to make it look even like older. So just rolling it, making a mess, seeing what evolves. I like that. The other thing you can do too is scrape, but I don't feel like scraping right now, so I'm gonna leave that. And I think the next step for me might be some stencils. This is my absolute favorite. I always use this one. And really you're just mark making. You're going to be painting over it later anyway. So I like how that turned out. I think I need, maybe I'll do another one with, I'll do it with pink. So you can really see how it looks, because I really like the way it looks. I lay it on pretty thick when I'm using the stencil. And there are stencil brushes you can use. I just don't have any right now. And I just like the gooey texture of that. And just to bring it to the next page, I think I'm going to try it again right here. And I just tap it on there and hope for the best. So I like the way that looks. nice and gooey. And it gives your artwork some texture. I'm gonna grab some dark purple and do a little mark making. Just pick whatever colors I want. And I'm just doing whatever I feel like. So I like the way that looks so far, nice and messy. I'm going to dry this with the blow dryer, and then I'm going to start drawing on top. Now that I've dried all the paint, it's nice and dry, as dry as I could get it. I know that I want to do some figure drawing. I just, sometimes you can see if you can pull something out of what you've created, because sometimes you'll see something and it'll look like something and then you'll go with the flow. But for whatever reason today, I've missed drawing figures, but just more shadowy type, abstract type figures. So that's what I'm gonna do today. And I don't have a reference photo, so I'm just gonna hope for the best. And this could change as I go. That's the other thing with having an art journal and doing mixed media, things change as you go. So I don't want to be committed to one thing, but this is what I'm thinking of right now, is just some kind of figure. And so we'll see how that looks. So I've got the face sort of figured out, and I think what I'll do now is just grab a paintbrush and map her in a bit. And I don't want to color everything in because, I don't know, let's see how this looks, because I want it to be sort of abstracted. And so I've got sort of the shape, but I like a messy look, so I don't want it to be too perfect. Oops. And so I'm trying to make her sort of blend in with it, while at the same time pulling her out, keeping her blended in. So I'm just grabbing whatever color I feel like. I'm going to use this again, but right here, and bring out some yellow. And now I'm just doing whatever I feel like. Not too worried about it. Bringing some colors in. I think I want this teal color. And I like to make it look shadowy. And now I'm just throwing some white on there. Okay. I do feel like there's a figure right there as well, so I'm going to map that in. I do have these oil paint or oil pastels, and just gonna go in with that. Just in general on the edges. This pencil is supposed to mark on glass, plastic, everything. I just need to sharpen it. And now I'm going to do this one. Just bringing those figures to the forefront. I feel like this one's got flowers on her hair. So those ones are mapped out there. And then this one looks pretty good to me. Okay. don't think I'm going to do their eyes with this pencil because this pencil is water soluble. So I'm going to try an Artex marker instead because I feel like that's too thick. Now that I've got their faces mapped in and I used a black acrylic marker for their faces, I'll probably add some more color to their faces later, but I want to adjust. I think each of them are going to have flowers or a hat on. So I'm just going to play with some color and add some flowers. And I like to have like a mix of colors that aren't fully mixed. Like I just grab a bit of each and see what happens. Like for this woman, you could see just grabbing some colors there and maybe lightly tapping it on there. Just do it like that. And I feel like she needs some darker blue there. And I like to bring all the colors in. So she's got that color. There, I like how that looks for her. I like the pink here. And maybe she'll have a little on her cheek as well. And then I'm gonna get my scratchy tool and make that a little messier because it's too neat. Same with her face. I like to scratch it off a bit. I like the way this tool, you can pick up a bunch of paint that you have on your palette and go from there. It's almost like a cool effect. I'm gonna add some shadow to her face a little bit. And I'm probably going to do that to this one as well and lighten her cheek a little bit. Now that I have their faces mapped out a bit more, I got some new colors that I want to play with for this one and just play with the flowers a little bit. I felt like it didn't stand out enough. And I might just put her cheek color as that blue color. Okay, so the sun is setting. I need to finish this as quickly as I can. I think I'm gonna add some gold touches to it and some glitter glue. And this might be weird. I don't know how this is gonna look, but I kind of wanted to add like almost like birds in the distance. Not sure why, but I just wanted to add that there. And now I love adding some bold colors like black to just make it stand out. And I liked her, I added this red for her. I might do that for her as well. almost like something like that. I have this gold glitter glue. There's not much left in it. So she's going to have some there. And she's probably going to have some on her face. I honestly don't think you could have too much glitter. So I have a little bit of golden acrylics, and I'm going to add that to these ladies. I think for her, it's going to be there on her cheek. I think I just want a little more. I actually feel like she needs some. So I have a white Artex marker, and I'm going to map out the whites of their eyes. This is the final look. I don't have the best light, but it's very dramatic. I love the contrast with the dark and the lights. You could really get a good look of the sparkles there. And I just love how this turned out. This was so much fun. I want to thank you guys for watching. Show you the big old mess. Huge mess here, but that's okay. I had lots of fun. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks and have a great day.